So I've been playing around with the talent points big time. Of course, I like hybrid builds to where I can PvP and PvE at once. And I'm always a Steel Fate fan, but I'm not a big dagger. Well, it's not that I don't like daggers, I just don't like their pace for damage and point generation for battlegrounds. It's a little slow, and dagger rogues usually end up being a bit on the frail side. But I was struggling, just on the cusp of really being happy with the 30-21 with the Blade Fury. And then I realized I took away the riposte and the deflection, and threw a point here and 5 points here with the Blade Fury, so at 30-21 with dual wield spec instead of riposte. And that upped the raid damage a bunch, and then even more failure for PvP. It moved the opposite way of what I wanted. And then the main reason why I kept playing around with improved gouge, taking it out for the lightning reflexes, is because it was really hard to use in PvP as this 21 combat, because our energy, with 45 energy requirement on gouge, it would leave me off 5, so then my ticks were off for being able to reliably put out sinister strikes. And if I riposte, it got worse and worse. And so yet another MC with nada, so I wasn't able to get the 5-piece Night Slayer, which I know a lot of people like to stack that and Vigor. But today I played around with dropping the Blade Fury, which is going to hurt our raid DPS, but the biggest hurt there is honestly in trash pulls, and I don't care for overall raid damage. I mean, if you want to be top there, make a mage, spam Arcane Explosion, no one will touch you. So I went back, took the poisons out, and went back to this, so that I could get in more ambushes. And then kept riposte and improved gouge with the Vigor, so at 31-20. And this flows much, much better when I can get the 5-piece Night Slayer, so I'll have 120. That will basically make the combo point generation more, like double the speed of a regular Hemo build, because our Sinister Strike will cost 5 more energy, but we'll have 20 more energy to go off of. So during the course of a PvP fight, it's almost as if you're using Hemo. The energies balance out, but that extra energy, even just having 10, lets us riposte without worry of it slowing down our point generation by throwing our energy amounts off. And then once I have 120, we're only a tick shy of being able to do full 5-point and eviscerate and stuff like that. So this, I guess to other guildies might show up as less performance in some fights, because I can't stack Blade Flurry and all that haste. But honestly, that's drawn out damage, and it takes energy. It's pretty much anti-PvP as it gets. You'll barely ever make full use of it. In fact, it's even better to do a 2-point or 3-point improved slice and dice, as your talents will give you back the energy it takes to cast it. You'll get more haste, and you'll get a combo point usually. So in PvP, this is starting to flow exactly like what I want. Like, when the Night Slayer comes through and I can rock 120 energy, this will be exactly what I wanted. If you're following my build and rocking the 30-21 with the 21st point in Blade Fury and just 30 over here, no Vigor, unless you have the 5 of 8 Night Slayer for the 10 extra energy, basically a Vigor, I wouldn't put these points here. It's fun to use and stuff like that, and great when soloing, but you'll notice your raid damage and your damage overall while using Blade Fury, even if you're using it in PvP, will go up by putting the 5 points here, and then you can either put 4 into lightning reflexes or do a 3-1, or if you want to do a you can do a 4 here and or a 3 there and grab improved kick even if you want, if you're not worried about getting to that eviscerate where your crit levels and stuff ain't there yet. But this the Vigor basically helped me overcome the kind of the gap for not having initiative. The problem with initiative is that you can do a 30 and then 21 down to Hemo, but you can't use Hemo in a raid. It takes a debuff slot that the raid does not want to lose. You should never use Hemo in a raid. You're hurting raid damage at that point. And so to do a 30-21, you can't grab Improved Sinister Strike. And so I did have a build that was 31 to 18, but it lacks hit. And so that's why, I really like that build, BWL and beyond. In fact, once you get the Drakefang Talisman, the epic hit trinket and stuff, and, your epic hit bow, and Bloodfang has some other hit pieces on it in different spots, that the 31 to 18 is an amazing build because it doesn't get Riposte or Ghostly Strike, and it puts Backstab back down on the bar here. And since it has Opportunity and 2 points here, you can do an Improved Ambush, and then with your Tier 3 set, you can get guaranteed crit backstabs and shit every time you eviscerate. 5-point evis. And through the Tier 3 set, it also gives you 5 energy back whenever you crit your Sinister Strikes and stuff, so it makes it like a Hemo. And so that is a really, really good build. That's like a Phase 5 if you have BWL gear build, which I'll go to later and really get into depth on some of those variants. But if you're using the hybrid 30 Assassination 21 combat that I showed you guys earlier, that I was a really big fan of to get up and going in raiding, but you're not quite super happy with its performance in PvP, you can switch it to a 30-20 like I did. Mainly I made this video to say it because I was kind of curious. In your head it's hard to play it out. Taking off Riposte and Deflection for dual wield spec, if you're running Blade Fury on the 30-21, is definitely worth it. You'll see gains. So I've kind of made it where the 30 Assassination 21 combat is PvE heavy orientation, if that's what you like to do more, and the Vigor side, the 31-20, is more PvP orientated. But because we have Riposte and stuff like that, this build, and with the improved gouge, is still able to solo some really hard bosses. It does struggle a little bit taking on multiple mobs. You can't do the haystack evasion Blade Fury and just burn down 2 mobs really quickly. But using Blind Gouge and our engineering goodies now, we can still pull it off. The boss soloing is a little bit rougher. We got to use some engineering goodies to kind of take that one out all the way, but still very doable. PvP is a lot more fun, and you'll see your overall raid damage drop a little bit, but honestly not where it really matters. Rogues are designed to do single target high DPS, particularly in a long fight or a fight where there's a focused main tank tanking a single individual. That's our one devoted role that this class does. We don't benefit other players in any way other than our raw damage output and our ability to drop our aggro while doing that. So if you look at boss fight damage, which is really what matters to a rogue, it's the only thing that matters, to be honest, this build still excels very high, especially since most bosses have different phases and things where you have to switch to an ad or you aren't attacking, and so your energy gets to build back up where you get CC'd, and so you get to make use of that extra over 100 energy several times. So in a boss fight, I didn't see damage changes at all, really. So this, for right now, is where I'm happy, and I'm expecting I'll be really, really happy once I can grab a crit or agi ring, so I could run both cards and my gloves and my boots for the extra 10 energy for 120. That way I can do my PvP ability rotations just like a Hemo Rogue, while still rocking 8 or 9% hit, which is pretty gnar. Past 6% hit on your abilities, you won't see any gain in PvP, but on your white damage you will, which means our offhand and our main hand are landing more white damage strikes, which help proc and help with that burst damage. Not so much as in increasing your burst a significant amount, but your potential damage that's already there, you're maximizing. So I kind of like this over going into the Subtlety tree, and I'm pretty much addicted to improved sprint as much as it gets now. Like, there's so many fights regularly. Every time I log into this game, there's at least one PvP encounter that without this I would have had to run away or die, and I hate doing either of those things. And I'm not, this isn't, since I don't have the second offhand, this isn't even considered a pre-raid best in slot, and I'm very rarely not obliterating other people in epic gear in World PvP or Battlegrounds. So if you don't have the 110 energy and you're using the improved gouge and the riposte, you need to work on thinking ahead for, do you want to disarm or chance disarming that target and delay your eviscerate, and plan ahead for your gouge so that you have the extra 5 energy to use it, and you'll get that extra energy tick back. With the Vigor, I can do that again. It kind of self-feeds into the ability to sustain a Sinister Strike at the same energy cost rate as Hemo, yet still profit off of our Seal Fate. So this is surprisingly exactly what I was looking for. And Vigor is usually considered a not so great talent, especially by people that follow like hardcore raid PvE or on paper DPS. People that think that a 2% crit trinket is the best thing you can put down there to help your damage. Sure, if everything you're attacking never moves, just stands in front of you and fights back, that is 100% true. And they never cast any CC or anything like that. That is 100% true. As soon as they use a single CC ability or move, a 2% or a static passive trinket like that is no longer best in slot by any means for your damage output. Well, hopefully that'll save you possibly some money on respecking, some insights there, and I hope you guys are having as much luck with this as I am. I know some of you do the respecking every week for the raid thing. That's just a waste of money. But if you guys are having any luck, drop some comments or something, or things you've tried. I'm interested to hear it, especially if you've been messing around on the assassination tree with improved or vile poisons talents and stuff like that. Until the next update.